Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Today we're going to do another Triptych Brewing. Yesterday's beer was so impressive, I figured I'd dig out the last one that Steve has sent me from Triptych Brewing. These guys are up in Illinois. This is Fly You Fools, which is an East Coast version of an IPA, and it's been double dry hopped. It's a 7% ABV and hopped with Simcoe and Apollo hops, and a 4-pack goes for $12.99. Not too expensive for 4 16-ounce cans. 7%, that's just into the range where I start picking up my beers. If it's less than 7%, I usually do not buy it, guys. That's just me, though. I appreciate Steve sending me the beers from Triptych Brewing. Most of them have been pretty tasty. One of them was too much sediment in the bottom of it. Hopefully this one won't be that way. This is their rendition of an East Coast IPA that's been double dry hopped. And usually the double dry hop beers have an intense hop aroma and flavor. So we're going to see what this one brings to the table. Like I said, this is their Fly You Fools. And this may be a new beer here, guys. This is something that probably hasn't been out very long, because Beer Advocate only has 3 people that have commented on this beer or posted a rating on this beer. And over to Untappd, they don't have a commercial description on this. They don't even tell us what hops that are used, like Steve told me in his letter here. But they do say it's a 7%. We don't have the IBUs on this one. A lot of breweries like to keep that information secret, and these guys don't put any kind of ABV on their beers at all, according to what Steve is telling me. I wish that would change. I know that a lot of these breweries, there's a big hassle to get a new label approved and go through that process, but I would like to see that on the beer so I know what I am buying and what I am drinking. Tell me what the ABV is. So that's my only fuss from these guys. They don't put the ABV on their label, but they do put a canned on date, and a lot of times they put a best before date on there. This one said it was canned on 04/24 of 18 and best by 07/24 of 18. So these guys have got it going on as far as shelf life goes. 3 months on an IPA or a double IPA. That's what I give mine. When I purchase mine, if it's 6 weeks or less, I will spend my money on it. When it gets to the 12-week, I will not buy it. I mean, I'm not saying there's going to be a drastic difference between a 6-week-old beer and an 8-week-old beer, just 2 weeks. But it's at the end of its shelf life, and I'm not going to spend my money on it. I want something a little fresher, and there's a lot of you subscribers that buy your beers either at the brewery when they're canned that day or the day before, or they're a week old. I just wish I could buy beers here, even from the breweries around here, that were that fresh. So, and even when you go to the brewery, you don't know how old the beer is you're drinking out of a keg at the brewery. Maybe it was last batch. I mean, there's no way of telling unless you see a can or a bottle that actually has a date on it that when it was put in that package. So, enough about that. Let's get on with this one, guys. I don't have a commercial description, like I said. We just know it's a double dry hopped East Coast style. East Coast style usually is a kind of subdued hop, but being double dry hop, that's probably going to kick it up a notch or 12. So I'm anxious to see what this one has in store for us here. So without further ado, let's get over here and get the top popped on this. Pop a top and get it in the glass, and hopefully we're not going to have a half an inch or more of sediment in this one. Alright, while I'm pouring this, I will tell you the cuisine is curried and Thai, cheese and pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp blue cheddar, stronger cheeses, meat, poultry, fish, shellfish, and salmon, and I'll add grilled meat to that. Glass for the pint, Becker, Nonic, Tumbler, Stein, side ale. I'm using my favorite tulip glass today, guys. Look at that head. This one seems to be very carbonated. Very nice. And not recommended for extended selling. That's why they go to the trouble of putting a canned on date and a best by date, guys. Don't sell your IPAs or double IPAs. About a finger and a half of head. Very nice looking beer. It does look fairly cloudy. I would say it's an unfiltered beer. It's not to the bright orange juice color like the one we had yesterday from these guys. Does look very nice. Very impressive looking beer. Nice rich amber color. To the nose we go. Now, to be dry hopped, it's not off the chain in the aroma, and I know it's a fresh beer, guys. It's not even a month old. Citrusy. Slight hints of some pine. Maybe a little grapefruit and oranges. And that's about it. Well, let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Steve. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate you sending me these beers from this brewery. It is very tasty, guys. I don't know if they were going for a more subtle hop profile, calling it an East Coast style, because they are using a little more subtle in the hop aroma and taste. But being a double dry hopped, I would think maybe it would have a little more intensity to it, but it is a very good East Coast style IPA. The hop profile is not intense. For what they're telling me that it is a very nice hoppy East Coast style. Not quite to the West Coast style, and definitely not into the New England style. But it is very pleasant. Let's do the back end pour and see if we get a bunch of different sediment and stuff in here. The head did not stick around very long, guys. And I don't see a whole lot of floaties or junk coming out of the back end pour here, guys. So right now it is a very, very nice example of an East Coast style beer, guys. It really is a little bit more hop profile than that style usually has, but not quite to the West Coast style or New England style. So very nicely done. Very nicely done. Very easy drinking. Alcohol is very well hidden. A very well made beer. Super easy drinking. If you're not a big hop fan or a big IPA fan, I don't know what the IBUs on this one is, but it seems to be very balanced. I'm not getting a huge bitterness on the back end, but it's only a 7%er. Very nice. Very tasty, guys. So let me sip on this. It's right out of the fridge. Let her taste it, and then we'll come right back. Alright, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Been sipping on about 45 minutes or so. A very, very nice example of an East Coast style IPA. A little bit more hop presence from your typical East Coast style, but not overwhelming. Not to the West Coast style, definitely not to the New England style. So a very nice example of an East Coast style. And to be frankly honest with you, I would probably buy this beer if I could get it here. It's definitely not a juice bomb. It definitely looks like an unfiltered beer. I don't have a ton of sediment or anything in it. It looks like a well-produced beer. Alcohol super well hidden. Very tasty East Coast style IPA. I enjoyed it. Thanks again, Steve. I do appreciate it, sir. Final chug. The hops are not off the chain, but they are very present for an East Coast style, which that style usually is a very subdued hop presence. So, a very tasty beer, guys. I think it's very impressive. I'm going to give this an A minus, guys. 92 for me on this one. Very, very nice. I wish they would put the ABV on the cans, but they do not. I would probably give it a little bit better grade if they did. So that's where we're going to leave it. Let's jump over to Beer Advocate, and Beer Advocate has 4.3 out of 5. Outstanding in their range. And I agree, it is pretty tasty for what they were shooting for on this. An East Coast style, double dry hopped. Very nice. Very tasty. I enjoyed it. Over to Untapped. Untapped has it at 4.15. Excellent numbers from those guys. It's definitely an A beer, guys. It's definitely worth picking up if you can get your hands on it. So, like I said, a tasty beer. A little more hop presence since it's double dry hopped, but not off the chain. Just enough to let you know that it is a heavy hop presence for an East Coast style. So, if you've had this one from Triptych Brewing, this is called Fly, You Fools. Fly, damn it! Tasty beer. Especially if you don't like these super hopped up West Coast or New England style IPAs. This one's a little more subdued, but it still has a very nice hop presence. So, if you've had it, let me know what you think, guys. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.